Welcome back to Real Life Recaps. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. We hope you enjoy today's stories. The first story was posted by Throw Ra 9212. My 23 male girlfriend, 24 female, says she'll leave me if we're not married next year. What should I do? I have been with my girlfriend for 3 years. We have a very healthy relationship. Hardly ever argue about anything, and when we do, we communicate it well. We have similar interests and spend most of our free time together. Never have had a major problem before. Despite this, she told me if we're not engaged by the end of this year, then she's going to break up with me next year. At the beginning of the year, she told me she wanted to be engaged this year, so it hasn't caught me off guard. But despite repeatedly explaining my feelings and reasonings, she still pushed me to this. When we first started talking, I told her I wanted to wait till I was at least 25 to be married, and if she doesn't like that, then we shouldn't date. My reasoning is for financial stability, assurance, and the simple fact I want to live alone and be financially independent for a while, along with other personal reasons. Well, of course, she said that was a great idea, and she agreed. But after like a year or two, she started trying to get me to agree on marriage sooner. I've never wavered on it and always reminded her of when I first brought it up. Not saying I'd leave her, but she needs to respect my boundaries. Well, now she has stopped asking and just tells me and everyone else that we're getting married next year and we'll be engaged this year. Thing is, I am already paying for the ring and plan to propose this year, but didn't plan on getting married next year. Since she has said she'll leave me, though, has given me second thoughts. She thinks getting married at 25 is way too late to be getting married. But I've explained to her that if she plans to be with me for the rest of our lives, then 25 is young compared to the rest of it. My reasoning always seems to fall on deaf ears. She also has family and friends asking her when we will get married, so I think she feels some pressure from them also. Like maybe she's worried about her image? But she also sees her high school friends either getting engaged or married and never fails to bring it up. She's already financially dependent on me, so maybe that's part of the reason. The first commenter said, her telling all family and friends that she's getting engaged and married next year is really disrespectful and bulldozing over you. This is a red flag. It shows she's willing to just do whatever to get what she wants, despite what you want and have repeatedly said. I would reconsider this relationship. Next commenter said, it also shows a real lack of maturity, but so is being financially dependent on your boyfriend at 24, giving ultimatums in a relationship, saying one thing to appease boyfriend while acting completely opposite. She doesn't seem like somebody OP should trust, honestly. OP says they communicate well, but based on these things, I wouldn't be surprised if she just practices doublespeak. OP, if she says she'll leave you next year, does she even love you now, or is she just using your relationship to hit some sort of goal in her mind? Are you really okay with being that interchangeable for her? This next commenter said, quote, she thinks getting married at 25 is way too late to be getting married. Yeah, if this were the 1800s, people are regularly marrying in their mid-30s now, not 20s. Quote, but she also sees her high school friends either getting engaged or married and never fails to bring it up. Yeah, half of which will be divorced in 10 years or living miserably together because they don't believe in divorce. Marriage isn't magic. It's a terrible decision for around half of the people who make it. Better to be more informed and stable when you make it, instead of rushing into it. Update, so this blew up quicker than I expected. Gonna give context on some stuff since I didn't explain it well. This is my first ever Reddit post. I do want to marry her. I think I've shown commitment since I am paying for the ring. She knows about it. Something quite a few comments assume is, I don't want to marry her and I'm dragging her along. That's not the case. I had already planned to propose at the end of this year. She threw this in my face and it caught me off guard. But not only that, she's saying she wants the wedding next year. I said at least 25. Something I have reaffirmed to her for our entire relationship. Something she agreed with up until last year. Saying she is financially dependent on me was the wrong way to put it. She is paying for most of her bills, and I just help out with the rest. She has a job. She's not bumming off me. She doesn't want to be a stay-at-home mom. We live in the U.S. It's hard to afford stuff right now, especially being this young. She wants to start having kids at 30. Which is fine with me. I'm not willing to give up 3 years over something like this. We'll go to a therapist before that decision is made. I don't think I should just give in, but I am willing to compromise at this point. I can give an update after I talk to her, but it'll be on my page, as per the rules of this subreddit, only allowing one update per post. The second story was posted by Wooden Carpenter 5419. AITA for not letting my BF grieve. Backstory. My boyfriend's grandpa passed away 4 days ago. When he passed, we met all of his family at a small emergency room to say our goodbyes. The ER made everyone wear masks due to a sickness going around the hospital. So 2 days ago, I started to feel really bad body aches, sore throat, etc. Keep in mind, I'm 18 weeks pregnant. I told him how I felt, and he basically said he doesn't want to get sick because his grandpa's funeral is coming up. I told him I was feeling weak as well as hungry and didn't want to drive myself home, then be hungry once I got there. I asked him if he was okay with helping me for the night and I'll leave in the morning. Basically, just bring me some food to the room so I wouldn't contaminate any other areas of the house. He told me he had a lot on his mind and wasn't in the right headspace to help me. So I told him I understood and left. When I got home, I made something small to eat, then went to sleep. Yesterday morning, he called and checked on me. I tell him how I feel more sick than when I left. He just says, okay. The rest of the day, he has family over until about 3 a.m., just offering their condolences and keeping his family company. Around 4 p.m., I called and asked him for help to see if he could bring me something to eat, because all I had the strength to get myself were just snacks, like chips, cereal. No real meals, and I wanted to make sure I had enough in me for the baby. He basically brushed me off, saying he has no idea how he could help, and said I was selfish for not thinking about him grieving and how he was stressed and had a million things on his mind. He also told me that I was being evil because I said he wasn't helping me at all. After that, I just hung up. He called me at 3 a.m. when everyone left to sleep on the phone with me, but hung up 20 minutes later and said he would call back, but didn't. Now I don't want to speak to him at all. But I don't want to cause him more stress when he's already sad about his grandpa. I want to know if I'm an a-hole for not respecting his time for grieving. Also, would I be an a-hole for not talking to him today? I know how it feels to lose your grandpa when you're so close with him. But at the same time, I just asked for a little bit of help and didn't feel like I was asking him for a lot. Most medications you can't take during pregnancy because they have bad side effects for the fetus, so I've just been waiting it out and he knows that as well. Update. It's been decided I am the a-hole here and that is fine, but for the ones wondering about DoorDash and other options, I recently just paid my bills and I made groceries for his place since I would be there with him during this time. So unfortunately, I cannot afford DoorDash at the moment, but that would have been my first option. I didn't bring any food with me because all of the groceries really have to be cooked besides snacks. Also, I know he is grieving and would have never said anything, but if he was okay enough to do favors for others yesterday, he could have picked up some food and left it at my doorstep. Didn't even have to come inside. Also, I have family and friends, but getting them to do things for me is a bit of a challenge, and I learned a while ago to stop asking. It's really just been me and him caring for one another. But after reading some of your comments, I understand how I came off as needy. Thank you for your responses. Edit. I speak to my family every day. We are close in that way. I see them every week as well. No bad blood between us. My friends don't live close to me to where it's easy to just drop off food and go. My parents, on the other hand, do. But now that I'm an adult, and since my other siblings have had children, my parents tend to them. I have 2 siblings who aren't in their kids' lives at the moment due to their own faults, so my parents step in. When I ask for help, where they have to physically do something since I was a kid, it was always, I'm tired, this, or I don't feel like going there, that. But when they ask me, they feel like I'm just supposed to do whatever it is they ask. So yeah, I never call on them first. I call on my boyfriend, we've been together 3 years. From a commenter, you're the a-hole. People get sick all the time. It's a normal experience that a normal adult should be able to handle on her own. It's crazy to me that you feel entitled to catering while your boyfriend is thinking about a funeral, receiving condolences, and grieving a grandparent. What have you done for your boyfriend since he lost his grandfather? Did you make him meals, buy snacks, and offer to help with flowers for the funeral? You owe him some extra care right now, not the other way around, 18 weeks pregnant or not. Another commenter said, I understand what you mean, but I kinda disagree. She is currently carrying his child, and she should default back to him in 99% of situations like this. This, however, is one of those times that compassion and understanding needs to be exercised. He just lost a family member, and both he and his family are grieving. Both parties here are just as important, his child and his family. She, however, had other options she could have called upon instead of showing him his grief. Doesn't matter. I still think she's the a-hole, but not for the wrong reasons. This commenter said, You don't? Aren't they your partner? Aren't they responsible for part of the pregnancy as well? If I can't call my partner when I'm sick, then who? My friends and family sure after I've exhausted the person I've procreated with. Given OP's BF had a death in the family, that's a bit different, and would expect OP to be sensible, ask her friends or family. Otherwise, absent emergency on my partner, 1000% he or she the one that should be relied on. Nah. But what are your thoughts about these stories? Let me know in the comment field below and have a wonderful day.